Your natural rhythm isn't a limitation, it's a feature. Each of us has our own ideal rhythm. At the edge of a crystal clear lake where water lilies floated like small dreamboats and dragonflies danced to the rhythm of the gentle wind, lived Yara, a turtle who had completely forgotten how to be slow. This might sound absurd, a turtle who didn't know how to be slow, but Yara had become something nature never intended, a hurried turtle, constantly chasing after a world that spun at an impossible speed for her shell to carry. It wasn't always this way. There was a time when Yara perfectly understood her nature. She knew that her strength lay in consistency, not speed. She appreciated the slow movement through water, the pleasure of feeling each ray of sun warming her shell, the wisdom that came from observing the world with patience. Yara was known in her lake for her ability to see details others missed, to offer thoughtful advice, to be truly present in each moment. But then the world around the lake began to change. First came the motorboats, cutting through the water at speeds that made Yara feel like she was moving backward. Then came fishermen with their high-tech equipment, catching in minutes what once took hours of patience. Next, they installed cell towers that made other animals start behaving more restlessly, always checking something, always pressed by some invisible urgency. "You need to adapt to modern times," a young frog told Yara one day. "Look at us. Now we can jump from stone to stone much faster than before. Everyone is optimizing their performance." Yara observed the frog, noticing how she seemed constantly nervous, always looking at the next place to jump before even landing completely on the current stone. But the frog seemed so confident, so adapted, that Yara began to question whether there was something wrong with her own natural rhythm. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Yara began to accelerate. First, she tried to swim faster, her movements becoming more frantic and less efficient. Then she started eating more quickly, swallowing leaves without really savoring their texture or flavor. Next, she began sunbathing for shorter periods, always with the feeling that there was something more important she should be doing. "I need to be more productive," she began telling herself. "I need to do more things, see more places, meet more animals." The word "more" became a constant in her thoughts, an invisible pressure that pushed her always forward, even when her body and soul asked to rest. Yara developed an endless mental list of things she needed to do: explore new corners of the lake, learn new skills, socialize more frequently, optimize her diet, improve her swimming efficiency, study ecosystem changes. The list grew faster than she could complete it, creating a constant feeling of being behind, of not being fast enough, of missing something important. "I need to be more productive," she began telling herself. "I need to do more things, see more places, meet more animals." The word "more" became a constant in her thoughts, an invisible pressure that pushed her always forward, even when her body and soul asked to rest. Yara developed an endless mental list of things she needed to do: explore new corners of the lake, learn new skills, socialize more frequently, optimize her diet, improve her swimming efficiency, study ecosystem changes. The list grew faster than she could complete it, creating a constant feeling of being behind, of not being fast enough, of missing something important. What Yara didn't realize was that in trying to speed up, she had begun to lose exactly what had always been her greatest strength, her ability to be truly present. She swam through the lake, but her mind was already thinking about the next destination. She talked with other animals, but part of her attention was always calculating how much time she could waste in conversation before needing to move to the next activity. The symptoms began subtly. Yara noticed she was constantly tired, even after sleeping. Her digestion became irregular because she ate too quickly. Her vision, once sharp for details, became blurred, not physically, but in terms of her ability to really see what was happening around her. She was always looking ahead, to the next item on the list, never at the present moment. "Why am I so exhausted?" she wondered, not realizing she was trying to live like a hare in a turtle's body, forcing her natural system to operate at a frequency that wasn't sustainable for her species. Other animals in the lake began expressing concern. "Yara, you seem different," said Kofi, an old and wise frog. "You're always rushing somewhere, but you never seem to really be where you are." I'm adapting, Yara replied quickly, already thinking about her next stop. Everyone needs to be more efficient nowadays. I can't fall behind. Behind in relation to what? Kofi asked gently, but Yara had already moved away, her mind already on the next task on her endless list. The breakdown came unexpectedly. Yara was trying to do 3 things at once: swim to a new location, eat algae, and mentally plan her activities for the next day, when she simply stopped. Not by choice, but because her body refused to continue. She found herself in the middle of the lake, floating, completely exhausted, unable to move a single muscle. For a few terrifying moments, Yara thought something was seriously wrong with her physically. But then she realized it was something different. She had simply exceeded all her natural limits. Her body, in its wisdom, had forced an emergency stop. Floating there, motionless in the water, something extraordinary happened. For the first time in months, Yara wasn't trying to go anywhere. She was simply being. And in that moment of forced stillness, she began to notice things she had lost in the rush. The gentle sound of water lapping against stones, the hypnotic pattern of sunlight filtering through the lake's surface, the sensation of her shell being caressed by the perfect water temperature. When was the last time, she thought, that I really felt the water? The realization hit her like a wave. She had been so busy trying to navigate through life that she had forgotten how to live it. She had become so focused on being productive that she had lost the ability to be present. She had run so fast after time that she had completely lost track of time. Kofi appeared beside her, swimming slowly. "How are you feeling?" he asked, his voice full of genuine gentleness. "I feel..." Yara paused, really checking how she felt for the first time in a long time. "I feel like I've been driving a car at high speed and finally stopped to realize I was on the wrong road." "And what would be the right road?" Kofi asked. Yara thought for a long moment. I think it would be the road where I remember that I'm a turtle and that turtles weren't made to run." This conversation marked the beginning of a completely different journey for Yara. Instead of trying to accelerate even more, she began the delicate process of slowing down. At first, it was incredibly difficult. Her mind had become so accustomed to constant speed that stillness made her feel anxious, as if she were wasting precious time. But wasting time for what? For whom? And who decided that slow is synonymous with loss? Yara began experimenting with intentional periods of slowness. Instead of swimming quickly from one place to another, she chose a small section of the lake and explored it completely. Every plant, every stone, every change in water quality. Instead of eating quickly, she returned to savoring each leaf, noticing the different textures and flavors she had lost in the rush. She discovered something surprising. When she slowed down, she didn't accomplish fewer things, she did things more completely, more satisfyingly, more effectively. When she took time to really talk with other animals instead of just quickly exchanging information, her relationships deepened. When she swam more slowly, she discovered new corners of the lake she had missed in the rush. More importantly, Yara began to understand the difference between being slow and being lazy. Being slow was a conscious choice to move at a pace that allows for presence, attention, quality. Being lazy was avoiding action completely. Yara wasn't avoiding life, she was choosing to live it at a speed that allowed her to really experience it. "I'm not behind," she realized one day. "I'm in my own time." This didn't mean Yara had become completely impervious to external pressures. The world around the lake continued to be accelerated. Other animals continued running. The demands of modern life continued to exist. But Yara learned to navigate these pressures without being completely controlled by them. She developed what she began calling conscious rhythm, the ability to speed up when really necessary, but return to her natural pace whenever possible. She learned to question the apparent urgency of things. Does this really need to be done now, or can I do it more carefully later? Yara also discovered the power of saying no. "I can't do this," she learned to say, "because I couldn't do it well in the available time. But I can do this or that with the quality it deserves." The other animals noticed the change. "Yara seems more present," commented a heron. "When she's with you, she's really with you, not thinking about 1,000 other places." And she seems wiser, added a fish. Her responses are more thoughtful, more helpful. Yara began attracting animals who were struggling with similar problems. How do you do it? Asked the young dragonfly, who was constantly exhausted from flying from flower to flower without stopping. How do you resist the pressure to always speed up? I remember, Yara replied, that my natural speed isn't a limitation, it's a feature. I wasn't made to compete with dragonflies in speed, just as you weren't made to me in underwater endurance. Yara realized she had confused adaptation with imitation. Adapting to the modern world didn't mean trying to operate at the speed of the modern world. It meant finding ways to navigate the modern world while keeping her essential nature intact. She developed practical strategies, daily periods of turtle time where she intentionally slowed down, breathing techniques that helped her reconnect with her natural rhythm when she felt rushed, and a gratitude practice that